create some of those explosive plays. Throughout the course of spring ball, I thought we've gotten better here the second half of being more on the same page and being more accurate with the football.
You've got some good options there at wide receiver. How do you decide, like, where's the cutoff of the rotation when you get to the season? Like, what are you looking for of the 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that fit?
Guys that are going to play at a championship level, have earned the right to play. Coach's responsibility, put them in a position to go do the things that they do at a really high level. Don't ask them to do things they can't do. Ask them to do things that they can do. And so, you know, with everything when we first got here as a staff and where our program was at, you know, being smart and intentional with the things that we've had to deal with to grow our roster. You know, this is the deepest wide receiver pool that we've had. Now, there's a lot of young guys within our system that still have a lot of growth that they gotta make before we get to, you know, the opener, but really before we get to training camp too. And you know, that's, you know, freshmen, transfers, young guys inside of our system. But I love the competitiveness of that group. They've made plays. Fundamentally, they're getting so much better. You know, releases, the ball not in their hands, how they're blocking, understanding how to stem and work, you know, second, third level defenders. It's been really good to see how they've grown and a lot left out there for them.
Where do you feel like the secondary is at in
Yeah, you know, we gave up a couple of big plays today that we were just out of position and you know, all in all, that group, length, athleticism, you've heard me say it throughout the course of spring ball that I really do like the athletic traits that we've got inside of that room, most athletic that we've been, you know, at all five spots. They've made plays, and end of the day, we got to find, you know, a core group that, including guys that we can rotate in that will go play at the level we need them to. But all in all, I really like that group.
Vince in the back.
Vince, they kicked you to the back today or what, man? Jeez. Good night. Pulled the trump card on you, huh?
How much did you guys utilize the in-helmet communication? Looked like you guys are still doing the old school signaling and stuff. How was that? How did that work today, and how's that working?
Yeah, still a work in progress as we continue into to training camp. You know, I think everybody inside of our league was limited to 3 of those devices that would work and operate on a day-to-day basis, including the scrimmages, and so. You know, we put 2 of them on the offensive side early in spring ball, transitioned it to the defense. Both sides got to, you know, tinker and play with, you know, how it's going to function and operate, and our communication system will continue to evolve, you know, as we have a better idea with that.
Wes and David.
Was a lot of those newcomers there at receiver as a group, sort of what have they added to that room, and, you know, what have you liked from what you've seen from them this spring?
Athleticism. Ability to go attack the football at the catch point in competitive situations. That can be over the middle. It can be, you know, a deep ball that, you know, some would call 50-50, a 50-50 ball. I think those guys have continued to refine their traits at the line of scrimmage in press man coverage. It's the transition for every high-level high school wide receiver as they come to college. Typically, you know, they're seeing a bunch of off coverage and making sure that, you know, the defense they're seeing isn't getting run by, and so learn how to play at the line of scrimmage. They work, they compete, they got the ability to make plays.
Josh, can you assess how the 2 mid-years from Bradley Central, Boo and Marcus?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Boo was busy and has been busy, but I hadn't heard much about Marcus. Can you just talk about how those 2
And both of those guys, you know, love their traits in the building. They're high-level, competitive individuals. That have grown within the structure of our program, doing the right things outside of the building as well. They're intentional in the way that, you know, they sit in a meeting room, soak up knowledge, and try to grow in their understanding of fundamentals, technique, and scheme. They're physical guys. You know, we do tackle sessions. Both those guys are willing to stick their face in it. They have speed. You know, you saw Boo catch some returns today. And, you know, Marcus is a guy, you know, since he got here, I think he's put on, you know, 20 plus pounds in a short amount of time. I think that speaks to just how focused and intentional they are and what they're doing every day. So 2 young guys from here in state that absolutely love.
Paige, then Patrick.
Back here, Coach. What stood out to you about Sean Bishop today, especially the way he stood up in spring practice and then what showed out today at spring?
Yeah, I think, you know, for him coming off of his injury, getting healthy, having, for the most part, in our build-up to spring ball, had a full off season. Thought he did a really good job. Got a ton of opportunity this spring. Felt like coming off of the injury, whether it was mentally or just transitioning back into the ball side of it, continued to grow really well throughout the course of the spring. You know, he's ran well, sees it, what's happening up in front of him extremely well, and you know, does a great job pressing the line of scrimmage, using blockers. I thought today he got behind his pads probably better than he has. That's an area of growth for all of our running backs that we got to get better at as we get to kickoff.
Josh, Matthew said the big touchdown play, but I think he also had a block on one of the first touchdowns as well. What does that say about his mindset? If a freshman comes in, they all want to make big plays like he did, but he's willing to be physical on the edge.
Well, it's one of the ways, you know, Mike's experiences on the defensive side of the ball just in high school. He's grown in his understanding of how to be physical and still be in a good body position, but he's willing to be physical. He's continued to grow throughout the course of spring, playing without the ball in his hands, and you know, he's a guy that goes about his business every day and competes extremely hard. He's got a high competitive care factor makeup.
Coach, what do you think about the D-line today and how they progressed over spring ball?
Yeah, all in all, like that group, who they are in the meeting room, how they interact, coach each other on our, you know, on the practice field, but in the meeting room too. They've done a great job. Some experience that's helping the young guys grow. That room's, you know, changed so much over the course of my tenure here. You know, Coach Banks and Coach G and Coach Eck have done a great job with the makeup of who the people are and, you know, their accountability inside of our program. They've been violent. I think they've done, I think they've grown with their ability to play with their hands. That's in pass rush, but it's also, you know, snagging off of blocks and being able to make plays in the run game too. So our first group, obviously today, you know, those guys were limited in the number of plays some of those vets got, but all in all, it's a really good group.
Last 2, Reese, then Adam.
Coach, what's different about Nico at this point compared to this point last year?
Just there's so much growth, like from any quarterback as they go through the early stages of learning what it takes to play college football. You know, how intentional, how much time he spends inside of the building, which leads to the understanding of what we're doing offensively. Understanding the why behind it is really important for players as well. The structures of defenses, protections, being able to understand when you're hot, when you got to get rid of the ball out of your hands, how to slide protections and get yourself in good matchups. He controls, our quarterbacks control a lot more than people think in our run game, you know, and just continued growth there. So got really good command. He does a great job being intentional on a leadership role, communication role in one-on-one situations. Going to have to continue to grow as a leader inside of our program as he goes through his career. That's typical of every young quarterback.
Transfer portal opens in a few days. What factors will y'all look into about whether or not you need to add somebody, and how different is that, those evaluations compared to like the previous transfer portal window?
Yeah, end of the day, you're trying to make your roster as good as it can be, and you know, we'll go through that process, have exit meetings with our own players. I think the culture piece is extremely important, in particular at this time of the year, because there's not a lot of time with them before you get to training camp. So it's got to be mature guys that you're bringing into your program too.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
We'll have defenders Jeremiah Thielander, Amari Thomas, and Ed Spillman here, followed by Nico Gaston-Moore and Chris Brazel.
We're not gonna start just yet, just 2 or so more minutes.
We good?
Big O, you need to drink that Coke.
Nah, I'm straight.
Been here for like 3 years.
You like the TikTok challenge?
Nah, I'm good. Especially after you told me 3 years.
Give or take.
I think that Coke was your Hendon's first present.
Probably would. Move the tables.
Yeah.
All right, we got Amari Thomas here, Ed Spillman, and Jeremiah Thielander. Just raise your hand, and we'll call on you.
Edwin, Coach Inch was talking about you the other day, and he was talking about how people are really going to know your name by the fall, just because of the kind of motor that you've been putting on. I think you had a sack, or I don't know how we call it in this spring game, but for you, what has your development been like, and how exciting is it for you to get off to a good start?
It's been really fun. Just learning from my mistakes and everything like that I've made, and just when I got guys like Thielander and KP and Arion, everybody back in the linebacker room helping me out, just trying to learn the play. So it's just been super helpful with guys like that to help me when I'm struggling.
Omar, there's been a lot of praise for the D-line throughout the course of spring. Are you seeing that kind of development as well?
Yeah, I would say that I've seen like us as a D-line just continue to grow this spring. That's something that we just wanted to focus on, was take advantage of the opportunity that we have this spring to come out here and work every day, get better on the field. But I will say, just watching the film, being out there at practice every day, like you can definitely tell the growth in our team, but it's still a whole bunch of room for us to grow it, to be dominant.
Adam.
Jeremiah, you probably get more reps this spring because other guys are out. You guys are a little depleted. And did you see that as like an opportunity, a chance to sort of earn a spot with some guys out?
Definitely. I mean, any chance I have a opportunity to step on the field, you can't take it for granted. So with people being hurt, a lot of us got to step up, and that's a huge opportunity for me to continue to get better.
Patrick.
Maury, Coach Banks, after I think it was second or third spring practice, said you guys should have the best defensive line in the country this season. Is that something you guys have talked about internally, or has it been more day to day, or what's the potential you think you guys have as a group?
No, I feel like we have potential to be that. It's something that we talk about every day, just putting it out there, everybody knowing what our goal is, know what we have to do, what we need to do in order to be that. But we just can't come in, hear it, like, we try to keep our room focused, like, inside our room, like, not focusing on what's going on outside, what people say, how good we can be. Like, we just come in every day and work, so that way we know that we put in the time, we put in the craft. So if it comes out to be that, we know we actually work for it.
Vince in the back.
Edwin, today or in camp, who have been some offensive guys that you've gone up against, whether it's team settings or whatever, that have really impressed you?
Pretty much all of the old linemen. Definitely, it's not high school ball anymore, so everybody's just as fast and just as big and everything like that. So I'll just give a lot of credit to the guards and the tackles. All of them have just been great. And then even after practices, I'll go up and ask them, like, what is it about my rush move that made you do this and all that type of stuff. So it's just been really cool to get to learn from all of them.
Patrick.
Evan, Coach James said that you like physical contact, was exactly how he put it. There, early on in practice, did you have to they have to tell you to tone it down a little bit? You being too physical for maybe a thud period or something like that?
Yeah, yes, sir. I still remember it was a team run period and it was stud, and I accidentally tackled one of the running backs and they kind of got mad, but yeah.
Maury, you've been through a few of these orange and white games now. How much motivation is there with the offense and defense to get the better of one another in a friendly kind of way? And is it kind of hard to tell who got the better of who today?
Yeah, it really, in the locker room, like before, we really just try to talk mess to each other, like just to get things going, just to build up some energy, some tension a little bit. Because we know we want to go out there, we want to compete, we want to be the best, and we know we can do that against each other in order for us to be a great team. So we just try to build that tension up so that way you do got some motivation going into the game. But it's all love, it's all fun. We just want to go out there and compete.
I guess Omar, the follow-up would be, do you think the offense or the defense got the better end of the other today?
I feel like both sides did a really good job. I feel like both sides did a really good job, but I feel like just being a defensive guy, I feel like we let up too many touchdowns today. That's just something that I necessarily pride in the defense, but, you know, offense, defense, I both feel like we had a real good spring. We really just put on tape that, like, we can be dominant, we can play, and we just got to continue to grow off that, not get complacent.
Okay, Jeremiah, where was the focus for you this offseason to get better, and where do you feel like you are heading into the summer?
Just get better in all areas of my game, whether it's using my hands when I'm blitzing, being fit in my run gaps or in pass coverage. I was actually watching the spring game last year before this game today, and just watching even all the linebackers from then till now, we've all improved so much. So just continue to build on this throughout the summer and then into fall camp as well.
Omari, Coach Heupel talked about how the defensive line improved in sort of using their hands on the pass rush. How have you seen that translate this spring?
I've seen it. It's something that we really focus on a lot. We really focus on this spring just rushing the quarterback with 4 people. We want to be able to rush the quarterback with 4-man rush, just true 4-man rush. And we just really make sure we focus on the small details of using our hands. So indie work, pass rush work, like we're overly using our hands, like just constantly throwing moves with our hands just so it becomes a habit for us when we in a game or something like that, that we just feel natural doing it. So we really locked in on that.
Last two, Patrick and Vince.
Jeremiah, did you know much about Coach Inge when he got here, and how do you think he's already helped your game in such a short time? I know you guys have had full spring now, but how do you think he's helped you?
Yeah, I really didn't know much about him. I knew he came from Washington, and I know that they went to it all last year. So I know that he has what it takes to win a championship or to get to a championship. And Coach Inge has done a great job these past, 4 or 5 weeks, really just getting all the linebackers together and building a chemistry within the room. And he's just done a great job, and I'm excited to see where he can lead our group. So he's been great to us.
Obviously, we didn't really see James Pierce Jr. today, but what kind of camp has he had, and how's he handling all the hype and the expectations of him that he's getting nationally?
He's had a real good camp. I would say that he's handling everything that comes to him the right way. He's handling it like a pro. He doesn't get too worked up about things that people could say about him or what he could potentially be. He mainly just comes in every day. He's being a great teammate, being a great person, just continuing to grow as a leader for our team because we need that from him as well. And he's had a real good camp.
Wes, you have one?
Jeremiah, I know that you probably don't spend a lot of time one-on-one covering the receivers, but I guess we don't have any DBs up there, so I'll ask you, what kind of growth have you seen from that group from last year to this year?
Yeah, the DBs look great. It's a great feeling when you see the ball thrown, you look back and you see one of them guys make a play. It's definitely a really good feeling. We got a bunch of transfers that came in, and I think that room has built their chemistry up a lot, and they show up every day and come to work. So that group has done great, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. We got Gaston right, we'll finish with Gaston Moore, Nico, and Chris. Just raise your hand. We'll start with Adam up front.
Chris, if you look at where you were in understanding the offense and the tempo and all that at the beginning of the spring to now, what's been the growth? What's the difference?
For sure in the beginning, it was hard, but the tempo of the game, I think we got the fastest offense in like the nation type thing. So now I'm used to it, I'm accustomed to it, so it feels normal to me now.
Yes, in the past couple spring games, you've had some pretty good performances. How do you feel like your understanding of the offense is, and what's allowed you to succeed in these last couple spring games?
I feel really good. I was with this coaching staff at UCF, so I've been with them for a while, learning from great quarterbacks ahead of me. I've just learned a lot, and I feel like I'm really comfortable in this offense.
Ryan and Eric.
Nico, just what you think of Jake Merkley today?
Man, I thought he played great, man. Going into his first spring game, I thought he did a great job on operating the offense, operating our tempo, and I thought he did well.
Eric, yep.
Gaston, can you walk us through the touchdown throw to Matthews and the adjustment that he made to get to the football?
Yeah, so that play, we only had a little bit of time left before halftime, and Coach called a shot down the field, and I just went through my progressions, and I saw the safety step down low, and Mike Matthews was on top of his defender, so I just threw it up to him. He made a great adjustment on catching the ball. I'm really, really happy for him.
Reese in the back, then Adam up front.
Chris, Heupel said that this is the deepest wide receiver he's had here at Tennessee. How do you see that in practices and in the spring game?
We got a lot of dogs on the team, so Brew McCoy, score right, Caleb Webb, just missing me and with those guys is gonna be fun.
Sort of following up on that, Nico, knowing that Coach Heupel says they're the deepest group he's had, how would you explain this wide receiving core?
Yeah, man, I think we just got a lot in our receiver room, a lot more receiver depth than we've had before. And then you add the size to it. A lot of young guys that can play up, like Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley. So it's fun to see this receiver room grow the way it's become, and I'm excited to go out there and play with those guys.
Yeah, Nico, how much more prepared do you feel now than a year ago to kind of take over and have this be your team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think I've got a more grasp of the offense and what we're trying to do. And, just coming into this year, preparing the way that we've been, preparing with our whole QB room, me and Gaston, continuing to work every day. Man, I think, that's been our whole mindset this year.
Caleb. Nico, what do you think about some of the young wide receivers in this room? Mike Matthews was kind of stood out on him today and throughout the whole spring.
Say again, what I noticed
What
was?
stood out about Mike Matthews today and kind of throughout the whole spring?
Yeah, man, I think his catch radius, man, he can go up and get the ball at a high level. It's rare seeing that from young guys coming in, but I think Mike Matthews, him coming in, I think we've expected that of him, and he's showing that every day in spring. So.
Vince and Paige.
Nico in the back, what kind of freedom do you have to be able to make some adjustments in the run game and your responsibility besides just throwing the ball, and how do you think you've executed with that responsibility?
Yeah, I think our coaches give the whole QB room the keys to go out there and succeed. Check it when it needs to be checked. I think the whole QB room, like I said, has the ability to go out there and do that. I think it's just more of being prepared and knowing your job well at a high level.
Obviously you and Joe being on the sidelines or the bench together is nothing new, but I saw that you guys were on the bench together during, I think, the second half of the game. Just conversations maybe you guys were having with you and Joe kind of back there on the sidelines again together?
Yeah, it's fun always having Joe back, man. It's never anything new when he comes back. He's always welcome to our QB room, our meetings and stuff. So, yeah, it was great to have him on the sideline with us and, just us spending time together.
Eric and Gentry.
Nico, I know it's about getting better every single day. I know there's some guys out on the offensive side throughout spring, but are you pleased with the steps you guys took this spring and kind of where the offense is heading into the next phase of the offseason?
very pleased with the steps that we've been taking, man. You know, a lot of young guys on the O-line taking more reps. I think they've done a great job on carrying that load. Carrying that, you know, that burden on them, and yeah, I think, you know, the O-line's done a great job on getting better every day.
Chris, now that you're kind of getting used to this offense, how different is this from what anything you've done before in terms of just the speed and everything they try to do offensively here?
I'll say the splits is probably the most obvious thing. We got wide splits, play at a fast tempo, and it's more like a run-and-gun offense. So, I mean, if you play receiver, you want to play an offense like this. So, I'm thankful to be here.
Guys, if you don't mind, you play against them every day. Can you kind of give us a spring assessment of your defense? Not you guys, but the defense.
Well, who you asking?
I'll start with you.
Yeah, it's great, man, going out there and competing with, you know, with them. I think we've got one of the best, you know, D-line interior out there in the country. I think overall is how the defense plays. We got a lot of young guys, old guys, and I think they're meshing well on the defensive side. And yeah, man, I love competing with them every day.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just, you know, you go up against that secondary. Talk to me a little bit about what you think of them.
I'll say Ricky's the guy you gotta come and play ball every snap. If he gonna mess around, throw you to the sideline. So guys like Ricky, Jamal McCoy, the transfer real athletic guy, patient, going against some guys getting better every day. It's gonna work out in the fall.
Weston Patrick.
Gaston, I know there's been times in your career where you've been kind of one play away from going in there and being the guy, but the situation what it is going into the season, sort of knowing that you probably one play away from being the guy, does that change your thought process at all, your mentality, your weekly preparation? Does it change anything for you?
No, I just try to prepare like, I honestly try to prepare like I'm the starter. I ask Nico all types of questions, and back when Joe played, I asked him stuff. So just if my name were to ever get called, I'd be prepared.
Nico, what are your next steps maybe as becoming a leader look like? Coaches have said you're really good one-on-one. We've seen you talk about one-on-one. What's maybe the next step, or how do you maybe expand your leadership style?
Yeah, I've been working on just being more vocal with the guys, being louder for them when I need to be, addressing the offense, you know, when it needs to be addressed. And yeah, I think I've been taking good steps in being more vocal with the guys.
How conscious are you of trying to be more vocal and trying to be an offense-wide kind of leader, not just sort of a one-on-one guy?
A little bit more. You know, I think I'm more of a quiet guy, so you know, it's definitely different for me to get out of my shell and, you know, go out there and celebrate with everybody. And, you know, it's something I'm continuing to work on.
Gaston, what have you seen in terms of the progression of the offensive line over the course of the spring?
Man, I've seen it great. The young guys, even the old guys, new guys like Lance, and then all the young guys, man, they've really, since day one of spring ball, they've gotten better every single day, and I'm really proud of them. And if they keep working, I think we're going to be really good.
Chris, how much you've been talking about learning the offense? How much of it is an aha moment versus a slow build-up to understanding?
Say that first word again.
How much of it is like an aha moment, I got it, or is it a slow build-up in understanding the offense?
I feel really confident in it right now. I don't think I had any MAs this scrimmage, so I mean, I think I'm getting better.
Chris, I know obviously that there were a lot of places you could have transferred to, obviously being one of the bigger receivers in the portal. Coming to a place like here where you know there's going to be a lot of competition for playing time, that might not have been the decision some guys made. Why was that okay with you?
I mean, coming in a room like this, being able to learn from guys like Brew, that just betters you. Having to come up every day and compete betters you. And then playing for an offensive-minded quarterback like Hype, our OC, and just a run-and-gun offense just made sense to me. So.
Yes, in the back. What have you seen from the running back room in camp? I know you guys have been banged up at that position, but what have you seen from the running backs?
I think we're going in a really positive way. The new coach came in, and everyone loves him. I think Cam Selden, obviously Dylan Sampson, Patrick, Hunter Barnes, Khalifa, all those guys are really moving in a really positive way.
All right. Thank you, guys.